Hey community group leaders and teachers, I hope you're doing well and having a fabulous day. Welcome to this week's Leadership Minute. This is one more tool that we can have in our tool belt to lead more effectively. Over the last several weeks, we have been looking at discipleship, at growth and change, and how do we create healthy growth and healthy change in the middle of everything going on. Certainly with COVID-19, us being on the other side of it, there's a lot of uncertainty in the world around us. We never know if the world's going to shut down again, if there's anything else going on. And so how can we be faithful with what God has given us to help foster healthy growth in our groups and in those that we lead? We've looked at several different challenges throughout the New Testament, and I want to land this week as we conclude this month's focus on discipleship and healthy growth in the midst of change by looking at Paul's prayer in Ephesians chapter 3. In Ephesians 3, Paul actually is doing a couple of things. He's reminding the Christians at this church that he helped to start, that he sent Timothy to lead and guide what it looks like to pray, while at the same time he's praying for them to experience God's love. And so I think there's something in there for us. He says this, "For this reason I kneel before the Father, from whom every family in heaven and on earth is named. I pray that he may grant you, according to the riches of his glory, to be strengthened with with power in your inner being through his Spirit, so that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith. And I pray that you, being rooted and firmly established in love, may be able to comprehend with all the saints what is the length and width, height and depth of God's love, and to know Christ's love that surpasses knowledge, so that you may be filled with all the fullness of God." I love that prayer for so many different reasons. For number one, through it, Paul is praying for the Ephesian community to know the depths and the width and the breadth and the height of God's love for them. He wants people to not only have a head knowledge of who God is, but to have such a full three-dimensional, even four-dimensional comprehension of who God is, that they experientially comprehend God's great love for them. Not only does he want them to experientially comprehend God's great love for them, but I believe this is a modeling prayer. That as Paul is praying it over the Ephesians community to be read in front of the Ephesians, he's also modeling for us as leaders, as people who are leading community groups, what it looks like to pray for those that we lead. And so we should be praying constantly, like Paul is praying here, for those that we lead to know the breadth and width and depth and height of God's love for them. And not only do we pray for that for those that we lead, but then we teach those that we lead to pray this over people that they're pouring into and they're investing in. And so just as Paul said in 2 Timothy 2:2, that which you have been deposited in, take it and give it to other people who give it to other people. We do the same thing with this prayer. We take this prayer and we pray it over those that we lead, and we teach those that we lead to pray it over people that they're leading, so that whether it's somebody that they're discipling, somebody that they're investing in and inviting to church and encouraging to find hope in God and in community at our church family, that as they start praying this prayer over those people, boy, that's going to make such a huge difference in their lives as well as in the lives of the people that they're investing in. It's going to make such a huge difference in our lives as we get to see the fruit of this prayer happening as people grow in their faith, because we're praying for them to know and experience God's love in greater ways. And so my challenge to you as we wrap up this segment looking at discipleship is pray for those we lead, and pray this specific prayer over them, and then teach others to pray this specific prayer over people they're leading as well. If you have any question about this leadership email or any other of my leadership minutes, please feel free to reach out to me, shoot me a text or an email. But I look forward to seeing you back here again next week for our next round of Leadership Minute. Hey, blessings, friends.